Hello and welcome back. This is Hambbage, and I'm glad to have you for another episode of Hardcore Vanilla Minecraft. This is our fifth world, slow cooker, and yeah, we've been, dare I say, rocking it. It's moving along nicely. We've had some fun along the way, and have definitely spent some time recently trying to get our villagers all gussed up and ready to go. For anyone following along in order, last episode definitely concluded with us grinding for about an hour on a single villager. This gentleman, nothing good. But I mean, if you look back through our haul, with the exception of our farmers, everyone else, which is 6, 11, 14 other villagers, have already given us spectacular trades. So the deck's getting a little more stacked against him. Everybody else has managed to come up with something though, and you, sir, are our last real obstacle here. Obviously, that's garbage. I'm just doing a quick double check on the start to make sure we don't have a slide lingering or anything, and kind of get going. So, I had a nice little break, same day, more or less the same place session for me. Waited for one video to end complete loading, started up another, so I'm about a full video behind at this point, I believe. So that's kind of a buffer. It's nice to have. Maybe overnight we'll catch that up a little bit. But again, sorry, it's kind of an adjustment coming back into this grind. I apologize. As I said, I ate some dinner in between, a little hiccupy. We'll try to maintain a level of decorum if I can. But be warned. We should settle in as I get used to speaking here again. It's been a minute, and obviously at the end of the last episode, I kind of went non-stop, just talking about kind of a topic that professionally and otherwise I've spent a lot of time kind of looking into, trying to formalize a little bit. So thanks for lending your ears. I hope it was something that maybe rings a little true in your life. If you have any thoughts or experiences of times when either your attitude's gotten in your way or ways that you found it helped you stand apart from coworkers or something else, I'd love to hear those. Fun topic for me for sure. So again, if I said at the end of the last episode, I kind of went for about an hour, and it actually caught me off guard a little bit. I was like, as I always say, I check, and if the recording time is like an hour and a little change, a couple of minutes, somehow I always get trapped. I'm like, I've got loads of time, never think about it again, and the next thing I know, it's we're over. So apologize for the little bit longer episode. We'll happily switch that out. But yeah, if you have any topics that are near dear to your heart, or like a fun fact question, we've kind of goofily played around with the guava and some of the historical stuff that I've just thought of as we've kind of been starting in this world and getting a feel for what our base may be. We haven't gotten that far yet on it, but any of that kind of stuff that you'd like to hear me maybe fill some time with, if we're rolling villagers or digging sand or anything else that's kind of routine, drop me a comment. I'd be happy to jot them down and maybe share my thoughts. Again, remember, I am usually recording a couple episodes or so ahead of what is currently available, and that's elastic. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less, depending on what I have going on in my life and how long I've played for on a particular day. So bear that in mind. But yeah, would love to, as I've said many times, ultimately would love to do some live streaming. I don't know what shape or form that would take. It's a little more challenging in a lot of respects, but it does have that conversational element that I would love to have a part of this experience, and would love to share with you guys. So Someday, but in the meantime, the next best thing, if there's questions that you have or something that you've been interesting, as long as they're not offensive. Again, trying to keep sort of a PG-13-ish range. We can. We're not a kids show, but we're also not trying to just be edgy or offensive just for that sake. So, hope that that makes some sense. And again, I'm not gonna try to sway people one way or another, but I do love exploring new topics. Kind of the documentary type approach, right? Sometimes you turn something on, you have no expectations going in, and end up finding out you love it. Whatever it was, that was totally what you were hoping to see, but didn't know you were at that time, and that's something I would, I always loved to. Oh wow, the Magellan deal for our Elcano world. Totally stumbled into that. Would have never known that. 500 years ago was when he died, almost to the day when I looked into it, and learned a lot more. Other than knowing what the Straits of Magellan were, and his expedition was the first one to circumnavigate the globe, in recorded history fashion. That was about as far as it went. So good to learn a little more there, and certainly good to learn of the good Mr. Yeah, it's about time. I'm glad we stopped and restarted, sir. So we'll definitely take a Feather Falling 4. Only 18, but it really doesn't make a huge amount of difference. It's one that we'll buy once or twice, and that's it. And most fortunately, we barely need to restock our emeralds supply. We will top that off. Again, we're probably overdue for a field harvest. But that was one of the ones we were very much looking. Oh, I'm going to fix it right now. I don't like it when the sign just sticks to the top instead of centering it all. And that was 18, I believe. Done. 18, right? 18. Good deal. Thanks, buddy. We spent a lot of time. I'll let you get your space back. Enjoy. Okay, we've got 2 more gentlemen ready to go. We still have one that we're rolling for, but as I said, before we throw ourselves back into the fray, let's go make a run. We'll drop off those 2. We'll see how close our fields are. Maybe do the sugar again, depending on It certainly had us at close proximity. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? I don't know if you'll just work your way out, or if your friend will work his way in, but I don't think you can get. Let me just make sure that these gates are closed. Yeah, I don't think you must have spawned in here, so hopefully by the time we come back, you'll have wandered your way out. I'd rather have numbers of golems on the property as opposed to inside, so they can kind of, not all take the brunt of the nightly attacks. Yeah, look at that. I mean, we spent a lot of Minecraft days there, just rolling and rolling and rolling, trying to get something worthwhile. So that's another one crossed off our list. We don't really have a bunch more enchants that we're really desperate to get. We counted them off in the last episode, and the Feather Falling was really one of the the most difficult and most desirable to get, because it's a tough one to put on the boots, and it sort of gets us to the point of just building our boots. Let's take a look. We've kind of laid things out here for anyone who wasn't there. So this is our boots pile. Now we have a trade set up for protection 4. It's ready to go, and I don't know what all these are. Extras. I think all that's extra, right? We have looting 3 on our sword, but we'll need one for a smite. We have power 5, infinity, and respiration all on our gear. We don't have a trident yet, so it kind of falls into that same category. So this one, with Depth Strider and Feather Falling 4, we're ready to go. We just need to buy another Prop 4 book and have the levels to put all those onto the boots. Now we could roll the boots, but with that being everything we need, I think we can just flat out use the books, not even worry about it, and be set and ready to go. So that will be our plan. Now, I don't know how late into the evening it got. Do we have? Looks like we're pretty clear here. The nights do vary. Full moon I think is the busiest for monsters. New moon or no moon is the least, but I could have that backwards. So don't quote me on that exactly. Just watch the moon and kind of get used to it. But I know in the swamps there's a particular phase of the moon where the slimes come out, and I believe that is a full moon when you can just find an abundance of slimes all around and kind of go hunting in a swamp. We could do that one of these nights since we haven't yet found a slime chunk in our basement, and so far we haven't been overwhelmed with any resources. We kind of made makeshift overflow storage in that lower, kind of mid-tier basement where Salty lives, and our original bed is, by having space for dirt and what was cobble and now can be stone. Those were, those are kind of important initial volume bulk items that can get overwhelming for just a base storage. So just having a couple of those, and then of course when we started converting the cobble back into stone, that freed up quite a bit, and our projects have used a lot of those resources as we went. The main one that we still are sitting on is a lot of dirt, but we've done some filling work, particularly under the lodge, which again I'm kind of adopting that more than the villager outpost or anything. It looks like a ski lodge in a lot of respects, or some ski lodges in a lot of respects, but it could be an island lodge. And again, as I mentioned in one of the descriptions and previously in the just commentary, it's not really fair to call it an outpost anymore. I think it outstrips most villages, certainly in the amount of commerce that it does, but the level of security, the station of life that these people are in. They've got indoor trees. They have a full complement of security team that looks out for their well-being. So unlike their village brethren, they don't have to worry at night about running indoors and slamming doors and potentially being converted into the army of the undead. No, they sleep soundly at night. They have kitties to run around and kind of purr on their chests, and have certainly generated generations of family all there. So really, Outpost is the exact opposite. It's kind of like London was once the outskirts of the old Roman Empire, but soon became kind of all shipping lanes led to London. It was the largest city on Earth. So things that are once considered remote and out of the way can certainly achieve that level of notoriety. I don't know what's the best term for it, but notoriety certainly has a little infamous flavor. So maybe, but not necessarily. I mean, notoriety is just noteworthiness. It doesn't really have a connotation as much as, say, notorious. That would definitely have a negative connotation. So we'll just say that the lodge is a trading hub, and leave it at that. Now again, hopefully they don't raise so much attention that we have to make them into a twin fort at some point. Although I wouldn't rule it out. I have no intention of losing this world. I have no intention of losing any world. But if we're able to equip ourselves to the point where we've done a lot of the advancements and things, or even, if we're trying to drag some of the later, longer ones out a bit, that may be a point when we want to build a twin fortress, just to complete the look, and make it really eye-popping. So we'll leave our melons and our pumpkins for now. Let's do one more run down this side, and we'll circle back around the wheat. Give our bees another look, see if they've gotten any further. We should have done it first. We should have loaded another bunch of seeds down to our bone meal maker so that we could eventually manually start making flowers, but that's something we could do over at the base. And again, all we're looking to do is just top off our emeralds so that we can keep trading. And while a full stack would be wonderful, all we really need at this point is just, 4? I think we're sitting at 60. And again, the bare minimum is to have enough to take any trade that's offered. If we see efficiency 5 at 64, I think we'll take it, knowing that we have the couple of igloo guys, and just use it as a minimum on a couple of our tools. I think it's the axe that's already at efficiency 4. I don't think the fortune pick has any efficiency on it yet. We could pick and choose, but those that require it to finish their upgrade. Yeah, see, you didn't take your chance to go out. We'll maybe stay up until the evening when there's stuff out there, and then set them loose. Okay, let's trade with you guys. Again, we're not yet going to press the breeding. We're going to see what trades we get from the remaining librarians, and if we need to, then we can breed 2 more to fully fill this space, and get us 2 more enchanted books, possibly. So that's what we'll kind of look to. Now, unfortunately, I'm not thinking, but let's, again, not going to make a huge difference. It actually slows us down a little bit on the leveling when we're repairing the tools, but we may as well, again, just keep everything current, and then it's never a problem. And we've got more already harvested, carrots and potatoes, or just potatoes back there, so we're not far from any of it. But I got almost all our tool health back and got us up to level 10. Good shape. Not close on either of those, but the 36 emeralds were what we were really after, so very good. Now we begin again. Don't think I need to say it, but in case anybody wondered what we're still going for, it's efficiency 5. That's the main one. Then there's a couple of others that still are contenders at this point. Impaling 5 is one. Smite 5 is one. At good prices. We don't really need to go out of our way for either of those two. By this point, we have so many other enchants that, kind of with the exception of our trident enchants, we got the loyalty one. That's kind of the most critically important of the trident enchants is loyalty, because that's where if you throw it at an enemy, it will just pop back to you. Unless you accidentally throw it into lava or something, which try to avoid that. Or into the void, I think it will, I don't remember if it'll come back from the void or not. So, unless we find ourselves with just lots of tridents eventually, which if we have to make a drowned farm, maybe we do. No. Awful. In fact, I don't even want you to possibly do that again. Bad sign. no. So efficiency, top choice, smite or impaling, kind of next tier. Then, I don't know, piercing maybe? Lure, Luck of the Sea, channeling again. We haven't done, so we've thrown that off a few times because I wouldn't even want that on every trident necessarily. I'm not sure what that's. I didn't look. I didn't even think to look, but I'm not sure which of those it's exclusive with. But I know you can't have channeling along with something else, and that may be impaling. May also be loyalty. I'm not sure, but whichever. I don't know why I felt the need to move those, but I guess I'll have to put a bed down at some point. Yeah, whichever the overlaps are, it makes it appealing to have multiple tridents at some point, and it makes it a one and done kind of enchant that doesn't have an immediate help for us. By the time we really get after grinding for tridents and stuff, we may be well past that, or we may have gotten it at the enchanting table and not. It doesn't become a deal at that point. So we'll see how it plays out. What we'll end up going for, but there's not. Moral of the story is, if I see something and I know, like, hey, that's one we need still, we'll just go ahead and take it. But I would top choice out of that would be the efficiency at this point. We in some ways, maybe it would be better if the game forced my hand and made us go the other way, so that we just had to set up our efficiency trades through the igloos. And I was going to start this episode by saying, how far do we go with that last guy? When I wasn't sure if he would ever give us something good. Like, what's the point when we throw up and just, if we're gonna have to roll endlessly, do we just go to one of the igloos, set them up as two librarian, or one librarian, really, the cheap one, and just start rolling there instead? There should come a point where it's kind of a necessity, and the worst is if we get such a good deal on an efficiency 5, then do we switch and go for like a completely different profession, something that would give us? I don't think I would ever go for incredible emeralds like 4 goods, because we would have to travel so far to either one of them to make those happen. It wouldn't be worth it. Eventually, with a very secure nether tunnel, and so, we could arrange it where we could get him back here and keep him secure and do it that way. But seems like a lot of work, for having as many trades as we already do. Seems like a lot of work, but maybe I don't know that we would ever be able to ensure that we would get again, smite 1, not 5. Ensure that we would get what's the map? The Woodland Mansion map from a particular, or if they offer all of them. I don't remember how all that works. It's been a long time since I've bought a Woodland Mansion map, but that would be, I think those are usually expensive, like top. Maybe that's something. We set up one to give us cheap Woodland Mansion maps when we've got wings and we can just, tear around the world and just keep buying more of those. Be an interesting one. I don't know. What I don't know there is if you have to relocate the villager cartographer to generate different maps. There are multiple woodland mansions. They're scattered around the world. I believe at lake strongholds. I don't know that I've ever done um, more than just one in a world. And they're cool. I think they're awesome. But as spread out as they are, kind of when you've done one, without having this audience and the expansive world that we're going to try to kind of build to create something that the audience enjoys kind of being associated to and seeing us play in. That may be a reason in of itself to figure out just go on a villager boat trek into the unknown, take them through a portal in a far distant land, and then see if he'll sell me a different map. I don't even know if that's possible. I bet it's online. If I didn't find it or look for it, it's something we could try. I mean, I bet making a seed into bone meal machine is online too. I bet lots of people have figured that out. But I just try. I kind of went, this should work. Let's try it. I don't, like I said, recall ever having seen that before. But I know, I guarantee that's a thing. I've just never had any use for it or seen anyone that was looking to work bone meal that much who wasn't already farming skeletons, or something else where you could get it in just as readily and probably with less effort, right? That's the trick there. Once you have a skelly farm going, you don't need it. You've got bones coming out of your ears, and you just break them up into bone meal. So it's got a limited appeal, but it does help. It does give us something to do with all those seeds that we're getting, and that's something to be celebrated. So we will, with our little machine. And someday we'll put it inside a windmill or a silo or a grain elevator or something that's hopefully kind of period specific. No. One, not cheap enough to... as I said, don't really need it. Although it's one that does catch my eye. Like, oh, it's a channeling. There's another chance to have it. Woo! Excuse me. Hopefully got the mic out of the way of that. Whoa, I almost did. Still, coughing. Piercing may be capped at 4, so that might have been a kind of a throwaway to break so fast, but yeah, now more than I think about it. I don't know that goes up to 5. Piercing was potentially good. We kind of need that for a crossbow eventually for an advancement. I don't even know that we've stayed awake long enough to have phantoms yet in this world. Now that we got a burly bow, we could get some membranes at least. Not super critical until we fight the end dragon, but very critical then. Man, lots of unbreaking for cheaper. Steel's so good, he's getting dizzy, folks. Come on down. Look at the sea. Let's see if we have that efficiency 5 on this axe. It'd be good. just be a touch. No. Yep, that's what I said. So I wonder what folks are watching on the tube. Personally, the latest released thing that I watched that was eye-catching was Tom Clancy's Without Remorse on Amazon. Not sure if anyone else here has seen that or not. Fans. Growing up, I was a huge Tom Clancy, kind of hit right at my age, right? It was just that right amount of, for the time, high tech with, spies and everything else. And I think, like many, I got started at Hunt for Red October after it had been out. I think I saw probably the movie and then got the book. But right after, went to, what's the name of the kind of like, it's not in the Jack Ryan universe. It's just a World War III novel that that was kind of a standalone, second book. I don't know if at the time he was envisioning that, Jack Ryan, the analyst who got on the Red October, was going to have quite the fictional life that he did. But I was kind of right at that age when the military lingo, the spy tech that he talked about, all that stuff. I just thought, and I don't know how well it's held up. In the years since, it's been a minute. I did watch that or reread that the fictionalized World War III one a while back, and that was a little too rooted in the Cold War to really be fitting now. And I get it. Geopolitics. We're not going to go deep into that, but certainly tensions ebb and fade a little bit. The big powers of the world, whether they're as potentially hostile as things were in the Cold War, where we really grew up legitimately, not like the 50s and 60s with duck and cover, but excuse the hiccup, more with the kind of fatalistic acceptance, and I think a lot of people give the 80s a hard time. There were a lot of these things that now are kind of cited as materialistic, but you got to remember that our parents in those years were the ones who had grown up in the in the duck and cover and the atmospheric nuclear tests, both by the U.S. and Russia. This was the Cuban Missile Crisis. All those things were recent, and we were the children of the people that were young adults in those years. So we very much grew up not with just tell the kids to duck and cover in the elementary school if there's a bomb raid and it'll be all right. No, it was pretty much mutually assured destruction. The War Games, if you guys have ever seen that 80s movie as a kid, that was kind of must see when we were kids, but that was real deal stuff, like thermonuclear war, at a time that was more a when, not if. And there was this sense that, you plan for the future, you don't just live for the moment, but at the same time, don't miss the moment just because, it's not there. It wasn't all, and that was when a lot of the things of the kind of 50s went away. The idea that you would work for the same corporation all your life and have a long pension, everything would just be taken care of for you. A lot of that stuff started going away because on both sides, employees were like, if I don't like this job, I'm not going to worry about it. For all we know, we could all just be vaporized. And Well, yeah, that was a real thing that you kind of dealt with. Now I gotta regain. This one didn't have a circular. I'm getting back to the point. I just wandered, as I'm prone to do when we're talking with villagers, and I haven't really planned out anything to talk about. Oh, Tom Clancy. Yeah. So those concepts definitely came through it, and one of those, by the time I was a young kid, but kind of odd job working age, I think was when the Sum of All Fears, the book, came out, and later that was not my favorite, but sort of tried to be true to the source material when Ben Affleck and Morgan Freeman, I believe, were the two kind of main stars in that one. But yeah, for better or worse, Patriot Games and Red October, I felt really tried to stay true to the books and the stories they were laid out. By the time it even got into Clear and Present Danger, things were moving aside, and now the Amazon series are kind of a fresh take on the character, and I think, having never played any of the video games that were built, the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six and all that kind of stuff, that were kind of when he moved more from the spy novel, which was kind of reaching its climax. He kind of came on the heels of certainly Ian Fleming and Jean Leclerc and some of those. So when he was writing, that Cold War super spy espionage stuff, well, to the extent in some extent, it never goes away. And it just now becomes more a part of the every movie ever. It's corporate espionage or whatever, and they don't quite go into the same depth. But he was writing at a time when that, as a standalone novel topic, was kind of fading, and he switched more into these elite combat units, which, from his in-depth technical knowledge, he was kind of anticipating the way that military conflicts would go. He understood that, in writing a book about a massive full engagement World War III kind of, European theater of operations stuff with, air, sea, and land units all rolling. Yeah, that somewhat materialized in the Gulf, but it was much more, even then, strategic. Gulf War II, certainly. Gulf War One, a little bit more of the tanks rolling across into Kuwait, and the Tomahawk cruise missiles being kind of iconic symbols there. By the time Gulf II, we were already a part of that. These are our troop sizes overall are much down, but they're elite, and they're expected to be well edged. Most at some point along the way, I heard that most of, whether they're Rangers or SEALs or anyone else, they have advanced degrees or are pursuing them in their engagement. These aren't just grunt soldiers anymore. They're expected to, be a hostage negotiator, or a chemical engineer, or who knows what all skills they really require. In addition to being, brave and tough as nails, and able to do everything from a survival and supporting the team mentality. So, hats off to them. But I do think he kind of caught that vibe and expanded a couple of his novels when he switched over to the character who would become the kind of the CIA affiliate of Jack Ryan, the real agent, as opposed to the guy that kind of became the spy via the analyst. He was never a trained super soldier. He had a military background. Speaking of Jack Ryan, the character, but what became his other main character was Clark, who was the real CIA agent, the assassin kind of, go deep cover, but never stay in one place for a long time. Don't fly, don't attach to a diplomatic corps. You just you hang out in the seedy bars and go native and find the gangs and stuff, and attach to that element. Well, that quickly grew into elite soldier units that he interfaced with, and then their stories expanded out, and were some that I really enjoyed along the way. And I think their lasting fame has been that they did inspire that entire Rainbow Six franchise in the video games. And I kind of suspect that as I watched the Without Remorse, that was stop it. That was kind of what was being portrayed there. I you guys sense that a lot in a lot of movies. Another one that I really felt that, and this is a little tangent, I guess. I'd like to talk more about Without Remorse, but we got all the time in the world. In Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the first of the last three movies, I really felt the video game influence in Kylo Ren. And maybe I haven't done extensive reading of some of the Star Wars novels. I've read a few here and there, and maybe it captures as much of that as they ever intended out of the books. But when they're having kind of their climactic battle, Kylo and Rey are out whacking each other with lightsabers, and she's just kind of flailing along with the one that of Luke's that just fell into her possession, and he's got his crossed upside down T sword with the unnecessary points to cut his own arms off stuff. But they go fighting through the forest, and at some point she hurts him, and he kind of drops to one knee, and then you see him do the 4 punches into his injured side, and he kind of grunts, and I just thought that came straight out of this video game, at least where I encounter it, video game lore. Go to Knights of the Old Republic, some of the various Sith games, where even going back to Knights of the Old Republic and 2 were the standalone games that came earlier, and then the Old Republic was the MMORPG. But all of those that gave you light versus dark forces and had to balance the classes had these where they took the Sith code and tried to portray that in, but pain leads to anger, anger leads to hate, whatever, and whatever leads to the dark force, or the dark side. I'm not gonna quote Yoda or pretend like I could. I'm not that deep into the Star Wars stuff, but I just watching that movie, it was one of the first that really hit me that wow, that's coming straight out of an effort to balance dark versus light classes for the war, and this idea that as special power-ups or finishing moves, you would have dark characters that would feed off either their own or the pain of others to power up their dark side, and then they could perform their special attack or whatever, and off you were to levels and glory. But that was one that really hit, and I just thought, it was probably like a trailer poster moment, but at one point in Without Remorse, after an explosion and everything, he's walking out of the rubble wearing a face mask and goggles and, this kind of shadowy white, and I was like, that's the special ops cover. That's the cover of the video game. They're just doing a straight up homage to the game or cross promotional or whatever. And that made me wonder, hey, is this is this backstory that's already being modernized in the video games, and then, is the reason why Amazon is bringing them back out to general release, or are they just good stories? So that's kind of that thought. Video games or movies and popular TV and stuff where you see the influence of video games that may be used to supplement original material. It's just a fun thought. But I was going to say that the book Without Remorse was by far, when I was kind of all said and done, and I don't think I read. I've probably read the last, and a lot of them once they started getting ghost written, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. I've got other authors. I've kind of gone deeper into sci-fi and some of that stuff by then. So, tastes evolve, and sometimes you can't just continually stick with every series that you watch. But I certainly did read a lot of them over the years, and Without Remorse was I think tops as a standalone origin, and it was an origin story, and it was in the probably early 2000s or late 90s. It was probably late 90s, mid to late 90s was when it actually came out, I guess. But it was set in the 70s or something like that. So all the tech and stuff that he'd once been talking about was kind of backed up, and it was, I think, darker than what they made the show on Prime into, which is usually not the case these days. Usually now it's just for effect. They're going to go super dark. But I thought in that case, the emotion in the book and kind of the response he took to the events were really incredible. And the way that the author Tom Clancy handled all that when he was writing it, I thought was really well done. So I don't know if you're looking for a beginning of summer read, something to take on vacation or something. I recommend the old original version. I don't know if they've updated, released a new story of it. Not to say I didn't like Michael B. Jordan. I remember his name compared to a lot of actors because he's his name is like Michael Jordan. So good thing he had the initial, right, or added it, or they gave him that name, whatever the case was. But yeah, Tom Clancy and Without Remorse. The other one that really struck me. I don't know if I ever finished this thought, but the movie's been out for 15 years now or so, so I'm not trying to spoil the book, but it deals with a nuclear detonation, terrorist style, on U.S. soil, and this is what after we just talked yesterday about attitudes at work and all this. This was a job where there were some cush roles. Cushy roles. You would have different assignments for different shifts, and one of these was to kind of be in food service, but there were long hours where you didn't have to do anything. They eventually scrapped all this stuff because it didn't pay for itself. It didn't take off. But while it was there, you could get trained up on it. I was certainly a good, appreciated employee at the job. But yeah, you kind of fight for this gig because you'd in a 5-hour shift or whatever, you'd maybe have to make 8 items of food, and you had a lot of, but you had to stay there in case they did. So you could kind of I remember I was a young teenager. I think I'd bring in a couple, the small bottles of soda or something, and I'd bring in a book and just kind of hang back there and read. That was your job. I wasn't slacking off, and I'd put it down when I had to. But yeah, my heart wasn't in it, and that nobody's was. That's why it didn't last, I think. But I remember, I'm here at my job reading a book that I know is fantasy. It's not like it's not like it's horror or anything, but the image of what transpired as that happens absolutely chilled me to the bone. I was full-on actual cold sweat in a hot indoor work environment, where normally you're just dying. And I seriously, it took me a while. I had to put it down and like kind of walk around and be like, okay, this is not what they just described hasn't happened. And fortunately, to this point in our lives, never has. I hope it never does. Again, without really trying to spoil it, some all fears has, and a lot of these do. There was another one about like eco terrorist type people too. That was pretty chilling. What the bad guys in his books were trying to do was not Bond villain fanciful, really. There was some thought into it, but they were these far-fetched things that even the bad guys wouldn't rationally try to do. It's just like, what? That's take all of Bill Gates and Elon, all the Zuckerberg, every top influencers name that we know that are of the billionaire set, pool all their resources and try to come up with the most far-flung evil plan that you can, and then see if they can pull it. It just that's the fun of fiction, right? You can envision these kind of things, but in reality, there's no incentive to go to that, and that's kind of what some of these conspiracy theories and things you have to. The grain of salt is, if you put yourself in the bad guy's shoes, what's your incentive to, squander your whole life and, innovate technology and stuff, and rather than capitalize it or capitalize on it or use it, you're going to keep it secret and you're going to weaponize it. It just doesn't, it doesn't make sense. So, excuse me, there's more of those hiccups. Anyway. That took me some amount of talking time. Should we check the time again in the episode? I think we're still pretty early, but I thought that last time, and here we are. Now we're on the right side of an hour this time. Okay. So we talked a little bit of movies and literature. You guys know that it stormed here earlier today, and I like to be outside. I definitely enjoyed the summeriness of the storm, but we've kind of talked about that. We can't sing a song because we'd get DMCA'd, so we won't, even if we made it up ourselves, which you guys don't want to hear. Yeah, I don't know. We got really lucky in the last riddle. This is more typical of the librarian experience, and it's seriously making me think we may wait a while if we end up going to the igloos for our efficiency. Oh man! Although this is the kind of point. If we do get through time, and either this guy doesn't give it to us at all or gives us something different that we actually want, then we're gonna, first of all, I have to consider a break. go get some diamonds, do something different. I can't handle too much more of this. There's another day, and potentially just turn our efforts to the igloos, and instead of just endlessly rolling on the remainder here, if we're gonna have a grind for hours and days, let's just go do it at the place where ultimately it would be super cheap. So I don't know. We'll keep pushing here. I'll struggle through something to talk about. Let's get the bed out of the way. The last thing I need to do is confuse you about whose bed is whose. Anybody played, what was the game? I think I tried to talk about it before, too, and I couldn't think of the name. The one that was, it was the William Gibson, sci-fi. His was Cyber something. I think the game was Cyberpunk. Is that right? Was that the William Gibson, too? Or was that something different? Anyway, I've talked in the past, the androids dream of Electric Sheep and Blade Runner, all that. But yeah, recently I was one of my one of my preferred streamers, I guess, or streamers I enjoy repeatedly viewing, has a series going that's still going on Cyberpunk. He's known for completing games as opposed to just chasing. It's so many variety streamers, right? They chase whatever the late game is. They'll do like 30, 40 episodes until interest starts to wane, and then they're gone, right? And between the majority of players and the majority of audiences, you never see much of the late game content. And I like that because I've gotten a few games over the years that just whatever strikes my fancy, I'll pick up and continue to play a little bit here or there. I'm no better than one of those. Some games just gather dust. I get them and may get them in the midst of hype, but then when I do, I kind of regret it. Like, hey, that's not what I was hoping, or it's not as deep. At 14, yeah. Let's leave you as is for the rest of the day, my friend. See what we can get out of you. For 28, we could double up a lot. I don't think any tool is going to have a problem stacking. I know they're not, because you can roll just a straight efficiency 4 onto a tool and then combine the books, put on Unbreaking, Silk Touch, or Fortune, and Mending without any issues. So that could be the stopgap that gets us through. Now, if it's gone by the time we stop, then we'll know it wasn't meant to be. But that's pretty great, actually. If it's something that went on a sword, and I even said on the boots, right? Stacking like feather falling to get together on a boot is tough because there's so much other stuff on there. Same with respiration. When we were talking about the leather helmets, I was like, well, here it doesn't matter a whole lot. We can stack whatever we can get. But on the diamonds, you can't just go, 1 gets a 2 and then another 2 to get the 3, and then hope to put on everything else you need to make that helmet worthwhile. So it's I think in the case of tools, it's no problem. I think we can do double efficiency 4s. I'm going to talk myself into it here. Where's it? Okay, we're straight over. Another advantage of the skylight. We can kind of watch and still run back before the sun goes down and snag that. And then if it's gone, I'll be shocked. I don't think they turn that quick. If he did, I will be horribly offended. But if this guy swoops in and gives me an efficiency 5 between now and then, I won't be upset about that. Or impaling or smite at a good price. I would take any of those. Not a fire prop, too, though. And every time he steps down, I'm worried he's going to go to sleep. And even if he does, I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, if we miss it and he goes into bed while we're still working with this guy, I don't think that will break us. That may be RNG too. How long they hold a trade offer, I just don't know. But you know, we've seen with others that they haven't just immediately given up. So when I was talking to Emeralds and like needing to have enough to lock in various trades, even then I was constantly kind of thinking, if worst comes to worst, I think we still have Emeralds in the gem chest back at the tower. And I was thinking, like, if I seriously see something, oh, where are you? No, see, that's the usual price. Maybe you're just sending me the message. Let's watch that. If it gets to the hill, we just take what we've been given, and then maybe we'll be guaranteed to get it even better. But I mean, I don't know how much cheaper it can get in the igloos. I don't know that you can get a level 5 for just one. Maybe you can. I don't know, but oh, it's behind the post now. I really need to switch sides with you. Can I come over here? that would really help. Yeah, I know this is gonna make things difficult. Just make it so I don't. I mean, I guess on the bright side, right? We get more XP. We do more trades for less price than what we would. Talking it up. Keep talking it up, right? I don't know though. We said efficiency 5. Maybe we should stick to it. It's served us well in so many other things. But again, what we really need from you is either a smite or a impaling 5. That would make it real easy on us, sir. The sun is just hanging motionless. Huh. Lots of looks. Oh, come on. Ah. No. This is your big chance, buddy. It's about to be a last chance, buddy. No. 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 Oh, all right. We said it. Now, if these don't work, I'll be in big trouble. Well, not big trouble, but trouble enough. All right, you're in, sir. You're stuck. Now, the next. Oh, look at all that XP we got. The next time we get a roll, we're clearly getting efficiency 5 for something equally cheap. But that's a pretty darn good price. What was it? 14, I think. Yeah. I mean, we can't. Did I get you? No, you're still a novice. All right. Well, thank you, guys. We'll be back to farm some more emeralds. We're only at level 10. We can get our melon axe all the way up to speed. So we never got. I hope I can boat around. Just pick us. There you go. Scooch over. Pick a side. We'll leave those open for you. But I expect you don't make buddies with the creepers and just hang. Yeah, we're we're gonna maybe just try to harvest and flip our crops to get more emeralds and XP. Emeralds, obviously, we'll just kind of stockpile up. We've got a lot of things now that we can buy, and obviously XP to start putting stuff on to the gear that we already have enchanted. Again, we can make our full chest piece now, I think. So we need lots of levels, and one of the best ways to accomplish those is through that we have right now is through trading. So yeah, all right, we're all of it. Yeah, we went all out on efficiency. Let's fill this column. I don't know. Seems sloppy. I hope we don't get bit. What's our most pressing need? Unbreaking on the pants. Aqua affinity on the helmet would be really good. We had our whole boots, but I don't think we can do those for 10 levels. That's what I'm kind of trying to see what I should finish. Let's start with the axe. That's what we're going to use next. No, really? Can I do it like this? Is that cheaper? Can't do that. Alright, then this is probably going to be impossible. It's fewer things, but okay. Fire prot 3. Oh, we never did get another fire prot. Well, that's okay. Yeah, it's pretty darn good. We'll take it. No. If we can't put that on, was there anything else we had for our sword that we hadn't put on yet? Sweeping edge, right? Wonder how much that was. What did I do with the sweeping edge? I bought it, right? Is it on and I'm missing it? No. Silk. Sweeping edge. Let's just see how much it costs. Was that you or was that a real monster? That's just as bad. Alright, well that can still wait. Although I'd prefer not to forget where I put it again. Have a little mini worry. So that goes next as soon as we can, so that we'll speed up our harvesting of the melons and things. That will in turn speed up our ability to get levels, so on and so forth. We'll harvest the crops tomorrow. Oh, let's feed the bees if we can. Let's go down and grab what bone meal we do have. With that, we can get more flowers, can feed more bees. A little bit delayed, but it makes more sense to have it up there where we need it instead of talking about it every time and not having it there. So I'll take that. I'm not gonna use it. I'd rather harvest first, try to turn that into XP, and then go again. Next after that would actually be the cows and chickens for XP over the bees. The bees we just we want to finish populating the bee houses. So we'll get there. All right, let's put that. Should really go in the flower box, but I can't reach that. We'll begin here so that these have the most chance to grow again while we're if you just hold down your mouse button, whether you're like shoveling sand or breaking netherrack or anything like that, you won't. it won't count it as a separate attack as you're going forward. So like with zombie pigmen, you don't have to worry about angering them while you're breaking netherrack, unless you're individually clicking each box. Same thing with these bees swarming around. If I just keep holding this, but as soon as I release and then click again, if I catch a bee, I'm in trouble. So it's still disconcerting when one flies right into what you're doing after our having to run away. And again, zombie pigmen are one thing. If you can, that can be the end of your world real easy. But if you can hide away successfully, you can survive that. You can battle them, you can, kind of use your terrain. And the biggest challenge with the zombie pigmen is you don't know how long that effect will last. It's another ranging one. Bad Omen is not displayed, but you'll never really be sure how much time you have left, or when it was first applied, or how long it goes. It's not shared information. The kind of similar but opposite is true on the similar but opposite. Doesn't even make sense. With the zombie pigmen, you don't get any kind of a display on what that they're, other than zombie pigmen coming and trying to kill you. You don't see anything to tell you what's going on. But the effect can be, just a couple minutes. I think the lower end is like 2 to 5 minutes or something. I mean, it's not just a 5 seconds and they're all fine again and forget it happened. You got to survive when you have that misfortune. But the long end can be like 20-some minutes, as far as I know. And I've looked online because I've very much tried to avoid it. I'm not one who goes looking for that in thrill-seeking mode, right? But yeah, I very much had to endure, and when I have, it's been notably different amounts of time that I've been, stuck with. Okay, that's 7. It's not going to get us where we need to be, guys. I hope you appreciate this. We need a lot of levels, not just 9. But yeah, you just kind of get this feel like, man, this is lasting a lot longer than the last time I had to deal with this. What's the deal? And it can be a long couple minutes, right? So we'll try to avoid that. I don't think I'll necessarily just intentionally RNG that. When it happens, we'll if we can get into a little bunker, we'll have lots of time to figure it out as we wait for safety. Okay, well, that got us some. Let's run around and just check. Okay, so you're a paper guy. 1. Paper guy. How did I not notice any of these paper guys? I was so excited about their... one of these we didn't even lock in yet, did we? We should be careful about that. This is our efficiency. I don't think we've locked you, so let's not make the mistake of trading and locking in flame. Although, we may need... No, we got flame, didn't we? I think we already got flame. Come on. Seriously? It's like the opposite of every, prison cliche that, back against the wall. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Never been to prison. Wouldn't. Okay, so we got a couple. Let's go flip some paper. Is that what the cool traders do? They flip paper? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell some paper, Golem. Come on out. Oh, yeah. So I'd mentioned back in World 2, I think, I'd named the world Susanna Dean as kind of a, at the time, guess as to what that character was. And again, that doesn't work real well because, especially with videos, and even if you're in live chat, throwing those things out, people either know it and respond immediately, or it's available. You can go find those things in Google anyway. But I had said Susanna Dean. I was rereading the Tower series, the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, and currently I'm in. I don't even know. Is it book 4, The Wolves of Kala? And it's kind of largely a flashback book. But yeah, I'm curious. Anybody out there want to comment on particularly that series of Stephen King's? Any fans? Any not? And how do you respond to what's basically the insertion of a Western in the middle of what's by and large a larger Western? It's very much a journey tale, but it's also very, even throughout, very Western from what is otherwise a horror writer. But again, under pen names, King has written some sci-fi, some I think some nonfiction stuff, but yeah, you may be surprised at kind of the breadth of what he's written. Well, I was surprised that having just heard a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a good series. You should read that." If you read anything, and I loved way back reading The Stand. I haven't read exhaustively of King's works, but those in particular I've enjoyed. Now, at this point, we can pretty much get paper for books whenever we need. Not him. Don't trade with him. But this will potentially get us some new. Get your little bowls. Oh, you got lanterns, books for emeralds. I don't think so, but we'll keep trying to. If you don't mind, I'd like the experience option, sir. Oh man, I don't know if it's just the dark of the evening or what, but switching my eyes to the bouncing of that paper graphic was pretty painful. I think we've gotten close. We'll check the time here. I would just really like to be able to level up some of my gear. I know that's not entirely accurate. Oh, what's this one? A Silk Touch for 13. How does that compare to my real Silk Touch? At least it's one I would use. It was over here. Yeah, maybe should have made a circular thing, but yeah. Oh, now we've done it. They've all gone to bed. Silk Touch 9, so not as good. I don't. Again, I said it exhaustively in World Tour. We were actively trading up. We didn't just kind of press as hard to get done. And it was slower to breed for lack of practice, whatever. I'm gonna take a sip here. Oh, thanks. All right, now we could have done cocoa beans, but again, we got a stack now. It's fun if you think about it, but it doesn't. None of these things have to become obligatory, right? So we don't want your book, but we'll keep trading you paper. It only takes a couple, but we got a few more. Got some more levels. We're up over 13. That was, I think, enough to put the. Well, it gives us a full stack for one thing. Oh, we got more. Shh. Not you yet. Was it you? Yep. And a couple more. So again, not gonna get a rich trading paper, but it's the best means for those librarians that you do have to level them up. You know, maybe eventually you get a mending or an efficiency guy. But that gets us a few more and a little bit more XP to use. Now, did you take our boat? What did we? Oh, we went over to get the sugar and then just ran back, didn't we? How do you like the outside, Mr. Iron Golem? Did your feet get rusty at all? Oh my goodness, look at you, buddy. You're our original guy, maybe? Is anybody else just... Oh, he's pretty trash, too. At least there's a lot of you now. Can you guys kind of help the other guys? Wow. Yeah, we need to go mining. That's job next. Go get some mining on. All that iron we overlooked, but we got lots of places that we can maybe go and do some mining. You know, we had a lot of fun in our ravine, but can take that on. You know, we'll check the time. I don't think I did that. Mentioned it. But I would like to get the efficiency on this these axe. Wow. Finish up the sword and helmet enchantments, I think, next. Then maybe we go. So what were you? 12. Alright, that's a full axe that I think we did come. No, maybe we had efficiency 4. I don't know. That's done though. No, nothing further needed on our axe. It is good to go. We're down to 2. So here we go. Again, chickens and cows would be really good. We could get a lot of levels out of those. But let's go see. Man, no melons, no pumpkins. Are we? They just like stopped. It was like, yeah, we give you a lot. The bees are tired. They want some more flowers, maybe. I don't know. Well, I say the beets aren't there, but you know what? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, they're 10, 11 at least. So, I mean, that's less than a 16th of everything, just on what we counted, but, I don't realize... Oh, I keep forgetting. Check the time. 1:23. We're still doing all right. So let's, you know, again, I know it may have been tedious for some people to deal with this, but I should probably save this and take it to a flower forest or something, but I mean, it's going to kind of serve itself, right? We get back flowers for every, or seeds back for every bone meal down. Is it bone meal that we get seagrass from too? That's another good use. We could have here. I don't like that jumped uphill. I was kind of hoping to keep that all on one level. So yeah, we'll at least feed our chickens. We can refeed our bone meal machine. Obviously, we're not going to, breaking grass get anywhere close to breaking even, but when you count up the flowers, and again, that the kind of ideal here is that you're getting flowers, and straight plains like this only have the poppy and the dandelion. So you don't, if you have a flower forest biome when you're hitting that with bone meal, you can get a lot of, far less grass, far more flowers in that area just because you're in the right biome. So we're not living in a flower forest though. So neener. We'll take what we get. Don't know that you get many flowers on top of sand though. Yeah, you guys pulling up on these while you can, but I'm taking them back. I need to feed them to you. Whatever it is I do when I give you flowers and they disappear. I don't really think that you guys eat them, but especially when you have a specific function to go gather pollen from ground flowers, it's a little mystifying. So we've really ratcheted up the excitement here, haven't we? We went from villager trades being rerolled to planting and breaking grass and wildflowers that are, well, I don't know. I don't know how widely poppies grow wild. Anyway, I guess there's poppies here. I think I'm not a real wildflower expert by any means, so. But I know, it's getting to about the time when they look beautiful. The trees out here right now. It's been a very late blooming tree year, and I hope the rain doesn't affect them too adversely. Although I think it's gonna be pretty short-lived. They're gonna turn around. It's gonna get wet and cold, and what blossoms are there are gonna get clumpy and ugly and fall very fast, and what haven't budded yet, I don't know if it's real cold, how good they look if they're about to open and then just kind of get stopped by the temperature. So I don't know what that will mean for our trees here, but like I've said before, we here on the front range of the Rockies in Colorado definitely get a variety of late spring weather, up to and including a lot of spring seasonal snows. So always something to be aware of. Hey guys, anybody over there? Let's get a big clump of you. I'm trying to think what that sound, the honey sound, sounds like to me. It, kind of sounds like people walking in, it's not like a bubble wrap, but something kind of like that, where it, just, maybe it's like, if a dry cleaner or something puts that plasticky stuff, or like, there's sometimes when like contractor people come into your house, they'll put like the kind of looks like saran wrap stuff, but it's wide, and they'll run it over your carpet, so it kind of floats, but it keeps your stuff clean and fresh. And I think sometimes carpet cleaners will do it, right? If they don't want to walk on the still drying fibers, they'll put that stuff down. I think that's kind of what it's reminding me of right now. And we got a few levels here, thanks to our bee friends. Not too difficult when they're the low levels like that. All right, that's enough. Don't get greedy. All right, bedtime. We got a bed. How did that do for our crops? Still got some to do. How are we for? Do we have any wheat? No, man. We can at least do chickens to start tomorrow. I really like those crops to improve some more. They're not done enough for me. Hello, Enderman. What kind of block is that you're holding? Is that gravel? Gravel's okay, maybe, but I hope you didn't start any floods anywhere by moving that thing around. Right, I'm going to go on the chickens, and I don't want you following me, so be warned. Alright, let's see how far we can get just on breeding and eggs. It's not quite as jammed as I'd really like for harvesting of chickens. But I also don't think that the 5 are going to get us done. Not that bad off. Alright, round and around and around we go. How many chickens? Nobody knows. And a bee. Bunch of chickens and a bee. You think the chickens mind the bees? I remember hearing it, and seeing. I think earlier than this, but in Ken Burns' The Dust Bowl or the Great Depression miniseries, whatever it was. They talk that, coincidental to a lot of the soil erosion that evoked the name the Dust Bowl. When all of a sudden a couple years of drought and crop failures, and really being unaware of how fragile that soil was, had passed in a row. There was just nothing left. Well, in conjunction with that, there were kind of epic, I guess, growths of cyclical growths of locusts. Think the biblical plagues of locusts. But one of those happened at some point in the 19th century. It happened in the 19th, and then happened again just prior to the Dust Bowl, and kind of facilitated it because in the locations where these swarms of locusts hit, they would eat all the vegetation, and basically lay bare the soil. And couple that the fact that farmers had been not replenishing, over fertilizing, and plowing away the top vegetative matter that held it all down, and it really what you see today is not what was there 150 years ago. So, but one of the things I read in the deals was that the only people happy about the locusts when they arrived were the chickens. That chickens are always kind of notorious for out pecking on the ground, and typically feeding the chickens is taking out a chicken feed or some kind of grain and sprinkling it out to them, and they peck it up. But they're really opportunistic omnivores, and they're pecking along the ground, is looking for anything to their eyes bite-sized and edible that they want to consume. And when these locusts would come through, the farmers are all distressed, all the cattle and all the the grazing animals hated it because it took all their food away, so they were all malnourished, starving, whatever. But the chickens would just go to town. People were saying these are the fattest my chickens have ever left, because from morning to night, as long as until the insects had really grazed everything clean, the chickens would just stand there. They didn't even have to cluck around. It was just like everywhere you turned or stepped or looked, there were these grasshopper-y looking insects, and the chickens were just chomping and going after them. So maybe the bees aren't as smart as they think to get in there. So we're back up to 13. Does that give our wheat enough time to be ready? Or at least our melons and pumpkins? They're getting closer again. Man, the wheat looks awful. Come on, wheat. Get it together, man. We need you badly. Beats are still coming along. These we just did recently. Did we leave anything in the chests down here? Did we have like extra potatoes or carrots or something? Maybe we can gather those up. We can harvest our sugar cane over there and turn that into paper. Sell that. At this point, anything that's kind of just XP friendly without a lot of travel or effort is pretty welcome. And who knows how many of our other villagers I just didn't. You get caught up when you finally get a trade that you want. The few that I looked at hadn't early on had any paper, but we got at least a couple. And if we can manage to avoid the trap of trying to sell paper to the one guy we haven't locked in a book trade on, would be good. I don't know if I have that particular level of skill or restraint, but I'm going to try. So we'll go back over here. Maybe, when we come back the next time, we'll have some crops ready. You go in there. Now I don't have any boats over here. I never have two things that match, right? Isn't that what Smokey said on a certain Friday? Extra ore soundy. There we go. I don't know why sometimes you get out of sync. Sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out. I don't know. Boy, our sugar sure didn't grow after that last harvest, did it? Got spoiled thinking we'd just stand there. Oh, we didn't bring any iron. Oh, we got some iron in here. Maybe we'll come back out on a mercy mission. How much time we got? Let's do that before we trade. We can always sleep and then trade. Alright, guys. Let's say I never did anything for you. Now, if they're doing this because they're getting themselves stuck in the tree, that's not cool at all. You're not doing that, are you? Guys? Guys? I don't want to hear about tree suffocation. Alright. I mean it. For a while here, I don't have the iron to just keep doing this. So take care of each other and yourselves. I tell that to the audience. They're trying. Can you guys set a good example? Please? Alright, you were in good shape. You must be one of the new recruits. Welcome. Yeah, take care of your buddies. You look like you're in good shape. Did we still have anybody over here? It's tough to tell if these are the same ones or if they, kind of rotate. Oh! Hey, buddy. I guess water is not a big deal. How you doing? Yeah, we got respiration and aqua affinity. You don't have to hang out underwater if you don't want to. You're welcome to. I mean, it's kind of like the Iron Man suits. You got like the aqua one and the space one and the, I don't know, tanky Hulkbuster one. all the rest. Not a lot over here. Maybe we don't get many spawns. Maybe there's enough light that comes out through the windows. I don't know. How many more do we have just like standing underwater? Can we lead some down? Oh, if we got leads, could we take them down into that ravine that has the magma and just kind of leave them down there and go to town? Yep, well, here you are. Let's see how long you last, but you take down the competition. All right. Not much in the way of paper. Not to the first go. Of course. Oh, I broke all those leaves, didn't I? I'm like, why do I have all this random stuff? I'm not even. No. Cocoa beans. We forgot them last time. Okay. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Sleep. I like it that you guys all start your day with one unified. Then you all kind of change your speech patterns as you think of other things to say. Well, that wasn't a lot, but we're up to level 15, and again, the levels are actually nicer than the emeralds at this point. Oh, was it you, sir? Yes, it was. Alright. Well, that didn't get us far in level 15, but steady progress. Oh, don't want that there. That goes there. Now, I'm hearing all that thumping golems. Golems. But I didn't just spend iron ingots on you guys to see you, like, play fight each other and bang up your suits. Let's keep them looking nice, huh, boys? Yeah, we got company. All right, you're all still looking good. Oh, so many. Maybe we got a new one. Another new one? Look at you all. You guys are great. Iron Force. Ferrous Force? Ooh, they're our Ferrous Force. That's what it is. Alright. Gonna take another little hydration here. And I think we can go straight over to the fields, right? No reason not to. I think we've done all the peripheral antics. Maybe after we make a few harvest runs, we can... we can do our chickens again. And then... come back and our pumpkins and melons can be ready. Yeah, I was looking at the bees. I'm sorry. Not too far off. We can start looking at enhanced hose and other tools. I think we're still pretty far off from that. We need to get a Silk Touch pick first, and it doesn't have to be for all our mining quite yet, but we really want that before our next mining expedition, so we can bring back iron. Well, iron will stay, but diamonds, emeralds, redstones, lapis, anything that we come across that we want to use our fortune pick on intact and more densely packed than just overwhelming our inventory with a lot of stacks of coal. If we should be so lucky, coal and redstone and all that. But maybe now that we have our super beefy helmet, maybe we look at extending our mine out under the ocean. See what we know we've got some deep ravines right around our island here, but maybe we got lots of glass Right? We got lots of extra of that, and we have lots of breath time on our helmet. We could do that now without too much concern. Again, it's kind of a pain to deal with getting the ore, and being able to go. But we've got our aqua affinity, our depth strider. Well, we will have our depth strider. So lots of possibilities there. I don't know if this made a lick of difference as far as these last wheats go. I don't know why the wheat was so much slower than the beets. They should be first priority on the bees and ready to go, but they sure weren't. But we should have more bees now. Hopefully they'll fill in some of those little holes. Looks like we're getting more progress as I look sidelong at the bee nests and houses, hives, whatever they are. Not as many still. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6. I mean, that was not too long ago. That was how many actual hives we needed to fill in the holes, and now it's just ones that still need honey in them. So, doing well. We will get back out for longer and extended vacation / wandering adventures. Maybe when we're set to go visit our igloo villagers, we could parlay those into some bee hunting expeditions. Again, they don't really even have to have bees. We just need three wild nests that we can bring back to finish out our pattern, and we'll be very well set. Alright, now, main thing to remember is in our excitement, we don't take all the wheat back to trade because we want to do the cows, because we want XP and leather and beef and all the rest, even though those are kind of getting long already. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, that's coming along pretty well, and see how well this efficiency 5. I don't remember if we got this or not in the last one. If we did, and I shared my excitement then, sorry for repeating myself, but it is pretty good to flat out run and just catch the wave of melons as you go by. Good stuff. And it's equally good, when you're getting full inventories of carrots and potatoes on each run when you do the same thing. So. Alright, well, at least that makes me feel better. This is still maybe not be groundbreaking, but at least it's quick now for those. As quick as the wheat, but there's only 2. Oh, yep. Almost forgot. It's this close, but I didn't. And we can feed without harvesting. Alright, come and get it, guys. I know, I faked you out a little bit. I'm going to be slow to react, but... Alright, here we go. Everybody get some wheat. Grain-fed cattle. Still seeing a few hearts. Alright. Back around to the boats. Man, we're going to need dinner tonight. We worked up an appetite. Hey, buddy. Don't get stuck in the water or the boat. Don't come with me. You guys don't like the water. I always try to tell you that. There's some salmon. Oh. don't get distracted by the fish it's a common occurrence of boat drivers. Looking at the fish ahead of them to run aground. I think that's what happened in the Suez Canal. Any day now, sugarcane. We need those like 12, 12 emeralds we get from harvesting the whole thing, turning it into paper and trading it. Not super premium. But again, that's those guys that do offer that. At least we can get them up to some upper tier trades. Not that I recall anything, but they may be the ones that eventually get to. Yep, that's what I figured. Oh, I didn't know I hadn't taken my bed. Well, we can have a dinner. Oh, very good. We can just set for a minute, enjoy our wonderful tree atrium, the smell of cocoa, unwashed villagers, all living communally. Again, we just assume that some of these have vent holes up above to kind of keep an airflow going. Otherwise, that sun could actually get pretty warm and tropical in here, and it could get a little bit ripe, right? Let's go to bed. Try not to dream about that. Okay, who's got sails? No. Remember when we were all homies and you guys had so many sails? You were all leveling up. You were all so happy. The world was ahead of you. Not a care. Alright, well, start with you, sir. Carrots. 18. Keep it coming, buddy. Okay. No more for you. How about you, sir? And beets. A few more beets to somebody. Who wants more beets? Oh, you want 3. Oh, you won't take any, though. Did you get sales from anybody else? Who's got a sale on melons that hasn't already bought melons? Huh? Come on. I know one of you does. Need time to gossip? Is that it? No? Come on. Somebody. Let's go see what these extra things were. Maybe we can bundle some. I guess we could sell a 4-melon batch. How much you, sir? No. Come on. Wheat. Not enough now, though. We sold one more. Beets. Okay, I traded with you. Now, will you talk to somebody that's already on sale and get on sale? No. Come on. I don't know why I'm fooling with this. Got 4. Just almost a stack. And 21. Pretty good, gents. Thank you. Dump those off. Store odds. Oh, why we didn't... Oh, that must have been a merge. I just didn't see the potatoes. Oh, well. No biggie. Anything else to do while we're here? I don't think so. Again, I haven't forgotten we've got one free trader down there. We can certainly keep rolling him at some point, but we're saturated. I'm saturated. You guys may be itching for more, but we've done a lot of those traders. For whatever reason, usually I'm much slower about that. I don't just buckle in and get it done. I think in part the building helped. Having something that I like. It wasn't just being down underground, not knowing if it was night or day, not seeing that and kind of planning those cycles helped a little bit. Yeah. Okay. We're not rolling. We're just trying to stack. So let's go use what we can. And then see if we can feed and harvest the chickens. Would give us another few levels and some more enchants. So, what are we... those were our chest. And maybe that's... I'd like the boots with the feather falling. That's kind of a good safety, but that's going to take us a lot to get all together. Do we build the pick? Let's try to get the chest done. It's those three. That gives us a huge boost in armor and prevents us from having to replace it, which is a bunch of diamonds. So, all right, we still got some levels. I don't think we have enough to just do the sweeping edge onto here. That's okay. Again, that's not top concern. I think our next consideration should probably be making the boots. Honestly, we're kind of stuck in this a little bit until we... Well, are we? If we stay low on our mining, let's go do the pick next. We need to make it. Been a while since we made picks. It's kind of like, once you have all the mending gear and you're just, like, okay, we got to go somewhere and repair, blah, blah, blah. You do it. You never make replacement stuff. All of a sudden you're like, forgot the little motion. Okay. For our pick, we're going to need a silk touch, 2 efficiencies. We may have to go shopping again. Because I don't think we have... Oh, yeah, we can borrow them from our boots. Mending and unbreaking. So that's a lot to get on here, but this will ultimately confirm or deny our ability to build as we currently have. Start with a silk touch. And the mending, we can use that as is. Now we're down to 1. Now let's go... I guess we'll just placeholder all this, because if we're doing chickens, we're going to get eggs and all that nonsense. Okay. Put all that. Those are our next ones. Don't forget. Back down here. Oh. I do like it when guava just gives us, the little bird types. And I guess that's a part of living with birds. If you make that decision, for one thing, understand that some of those birds are very long-lived. My parent, one of my mom's good friends from when she grew up, actually had married and moved out to Boulder before I ever thought about coming to school. And I didn't get to know them particularly any more particularly well than I'd had just growing up and meeting them on occasion. This was one of my mom's childhood best friends, kind of people, not just an acquaintance or a school friend. That these were neighbors down the street, and both she and her sister, my mom knew very, very well. And while they lived out of state, their kids and my sister and I, would, whenever possible, like if they came back into town to visit their grandparents, we'd all get together, see everybody. That kind of relationship, right? It was almost extended family, but not quite the same, but certainly close. So, my parents, whenever they were out to visit or whatever, would visit their friends, and eventually when I stayed out here, when they would come out, we'd get together. And my parents raised my sister and I that you're not when you're a kid, past a certain age, but when you're a kid, that doesn't doesn't mean that you can't be on terms with your people of your parents' age that, is just, oh, they're the boring adults. My grandparents had done the same thing, where my parents had friends that were their age, and that kind of stuff. That, if they had a dinner or something, it wasn't the kids are to be seen but not heard kind of deal. And, oftentimes, they got it, right? Especially when you were younger, you would, kind of come down and say hello to the people, meet them, get to know who they were, and, how they were significant to your parents, why this group was particular, and then, eventually, like maybe, depending on what how fancy an adult party it was or whatever, maybe you would just kind of, not the sound of music to a full extent, but, maybe you would just be there for them to, kind of be seen, right? Oh, hey, these are our kids, and, they remember who you are, and say hello and see how you're all doing, and, by the time the adults were having a cocktail or something, or an hors d'oeuvre before dinner, we would at some point be excused to go play or whatever, especially when we were little, right? By the time you got older, you would usually, depending on the group, but you'd usually stay and eat at the table. We weren't a big kids table versus adults table. No, kids could learn a lot if they were allowed to be, polite and listen. Sorry, baby chicken. Yeah, it takes a while to get all these chickens, and I don't have any seeds. Oh, man. Oh, I hate the double click on the door. Okay. Run. So, yeah, we definitely grew up in an environment where we got taught manners. This is how you behave. If you don't, you get in trouble. You can expect that, that your parents aren't going to make a scene in front, but you'll get your way, you'll get excused, but you're going to be in trouble after, whether it's grounded or whatever the punishment was, just a long lecture that you didn't want to have to listen to, whatever. They'd let you know how you stepped out of line and what was not to be accepted, and that we knew very quick that they weren't going to reward that behavior where you'd stand at the edge of the door, kind of seeking attention or whatever, while they were they'd give you. That must have been from when we wrote. I was like, why is that corner so dark? How lucky we never had an incident. We're just sleeping, right? So we'd get like maybe some opportunity to stay up a little later and watch some TV, quietly in the basement or whatever, things that we wouldn't normally get to do. They'd make sure that it was kind of special for us, but we certainly weren't expected to like sit quietly and, be perfectly mannered and just listen to what's otherwise, insufferably boring adult conversation while they talked. But, we learned that, other adults would have questions for us about our lives and how to speak comfortably to them, and vice versa. Everything to listen and ask questions when appropriate of the adults, and just how to be conversant with people that weren't just your friends, your friends' age, and that's a big good skill that I don't. A lot of my friends will bring kids out to. If we're eating dinner or something, and they all seem to be kind of that. No, they'll kind of do the same thing. Of course, now the cell phone is ubiquitous, right? It's almost offensive to tell a kid, hey, look, you can't have that here, especially when, I can't imagine for parents, because I would be the kind that would say, yeah, first of all, you don't need to be the youngest person in your class that has a cell phone. I'm not going to try to make you feel cool, or just because your friends have them that you have to have them. I think there's a lot of costs that outweigh the benefits when kids are young. So that's it would be a big factor, but I'm not a parent. I know, if a kid for 8 months has said that, everybody else has it, it's tough at, Christmas and all that, when that's the only thing they want, to just continually say no, and that's part of the changing world we live in too, right? It is just and that's maybe part of the reason why parents don't are so resistant to young kids having phones is that they see other adults that can't let go, really struggle to disassociate that from their lives. And that goes to say nothing about identity theft, the access that other people begin to have to your kids. There's so many things. It just enjoy childhood. Don't feel rushed to get plugged into adulthood. You'll spend the rest of your life as an adult. You only get one chance to be a kid. I mean, you only get one chance to be an adult too. Be careful. Don't waste that. I always say, take care of yourselves and cherish the experience to be on this world. I mean it, but that goes for kids too. So much pressure, and it just, I think, year over year, it just builds. And I think that the digital age, for all its awesome stuff, it does, encourage kids to try to be more adult more quickly. There's not that distinction here. If you're a young adult or a kid that's watching this content, certainly the lines get blurred. There's no such thing as young adult video games, right? Minecraft may be the best example, right? It's really what they say. It's like 7 and up or whatever because of mild fantasy violence or whatever. It's about as all ages a game as you can get. And here I am, an adult, just offering commentary on a playthrough. And you may be here just for the tips on the game and watching the flow. And I'm talking about stuff that doesn't make a lot of relevance to school. I try to cover stuff that would be appealing to a whole variety of ages and options. But that's that's just kind of life. All right, 15 more levels. Let's go see what that gets. Oh, we got to put all this up for you. Sorry. Now that we have infinity, our feathers just will pile up until we can figure out a machine to turn feathers into stuff. We need pillows. They I'm trying to think of how I got back onto the childhood dinner party conversation stuff and the various topics. Lost it, but maybe it'll come back. Let's do at least one efficiency for you. I'm afraid that's gonna kind of. Let's see if we can get the other one. How about you? Oh man, I hope we can put this together. I'm a little bit concerned. Oh boy. I think we can, but I think it's going to be a stretch. But man, that's going to cost us too. So now let's pickaxe you. All right, what can we do for more levels? What's ready next? No guano or guano? Guava. Not guano. That's insulting. I'm sorry. I will not call you guano. More bee flowers? We just don't have a ton. Well, that's something. Actually, here, let's get it all the way down here first to see if we can focus our efforts down here where they're needed. Here, guys, come on. Yeah, I know, you guys are kind of the neglected bunch down here. I'm not forgetting you, especially if you guys would go after the wheat. Or the pumpkins, or the melons. Or maybe it's melons again. They certainly do well on the trading. German, no. The numeral. Oh, you see all those pop out. Alright, guys. Come on. Are there any of you guys new? 10. I'm so worried. If that tool doesn't build, we're in trouble. Yeah, we just got the 2 more, right? Maybe we have to start with those? I don't know. Oh, this is bad. And I don't know if we could have combined the 2 efficiency 4 books into an efficiency 5 book first. I mean, I think those carry enchanting weight, but wouldn't have the weight of late on a tool. So maybe that's something to consider. Hopefully it just goes. You know, it gets expensive at the end, right? Those are 4 weight enchants, so they're always going to be kind of beefy, but whichever one was the 12, showing the 12, I think we need to do first, and then hope we can squeeze in the other before it's too expensive. But I think like combining bows, they can go up to like 30 something before it just says too expensive. And that's a real thing where they'll just say, nope, this is too expensive to do. It doesn't even give you a price option to do it. So I think that's going to be the drawback, and maybe an incentive to keep trying to roll. Always keep an unenchanted pick and try to roll efficiency 4s on those, just so that there's something, and then you can stick on the rest of the enchants afterwards. Because I think you get a little break and discount. Not to mention, you could then pick up an Unbreaking 3 or whatever, which is our most expensive at 32 a pop. So I don't know. It's all things to consider. All right, so we got 11. There's just every little ball. Come on, that didn't even move anything. What are you guys doing? Come on. There's one. Any more down here? We're looking for XP. Just stockpiled up. Okay, nothing else there. I don't know what we would have gotten XP. I don't even think we did cook more sandstone. I think we left that empty. Nothing in the lava stoves. I don't even think we cooked more beef. We could. We can just cook another stack of beef while we're going. That would be a little something. Oh, wrong one. Right? I mean, we'll use it eventually, so why not? No XP for harvesting bamboo. Do we go all in on paper? I don't know. It's gonna be so far before we can make any more books, or need any more books, because we're gonna take so long to try to apply these enchants that's a thing. I thought it was night. Did we? We just slept, right? Okay, let's go trade these. That should at least get us up to 12. Then we'll see about more paper. I don't know. We need at least 22 levels plus the plus whatever the inflation is for then having the pick already being set up and trying to add more. So not insignificant. But yeah, I think the moral of the story is we're going with our bare bootsies to take on this mine. But that's what I was talking about when I said, only as a last resort would we repair with a diamond. You can do that, and you can, clean them up, but just doing that will increase all the later anvil costs. So be very careful if you do decide to go that route. Okay, who's got what? Our pants. Oh, we never put our oh, we gotta buy some stuff, but that could give us more XP, so that's not bad. Yeah, I forgot we need another. We borrowed the mending and the unbreaking. Anybody got a sale? Come on, you guys didn't forget our last trade so quick, did you? It was only like a day ago. What, you don't remember? Yeah, you remember me. I remember you. You sure you don't want some potatoes? Okay, well, that's something. You were our sale guy. But you went back to potatoes. Stop at the potatoes. Okay. Oh, it's up to 15. And then just anybody to take melons, I guess. Alright, now let's buy some more unbreaking. And some more mending. Really? Don't be standoffish. Depth. Silk. You're hiding. Oh, it was like 32, so I don't think that's it. Infinity. Is that over here? Oh, he was on this far wall. That's right. Here. Oh. Here? Yeah. Alright. We're not just loaded, so let's do 2. And then we'll go back over, and maybe that guy will move off the wall. We can buy 2 mending. Like 2 mending books, please, sir. But yes, I know it's been a while. I can see why you're like, what happened, man? Am I chopped liver? Actually, we have a lot more diamonds than I thought. But let's not... Oh, we need a prop 4, too. Thanks for reminding me, Mr. Librarian, at the expense of your own sale. A prop 4 for the pants or the boots or something. Rest, sweep, aqua, prop. Right? Alright, that's good stuff. Now, nothing else. Let's not to the other guy, but to you. Wait, the books are on sale, but they're 12 now. Alright, I guess I won't complain. I mean, it is a little weird though, seriously. Like, you don't cheapen the deal on paper, but you do on books? Okay. A little inconsistent, if you ask me. We never did find a potato guy, but that's alright. Go, go, go. Next up will be paper, but let's try to apply stuff while we can, right? And get as far along as possible. Now the boots, even though they have more stuff, hopefully we'll be better off because we're not doing as heavily weighted books. Again, if that concept makes sense, that an efficiency 4, or even more so a 5, has more weight to it than a aqua affinity, right? Or, a depth strata, right? Something like that. Those have less weight because there's less levels to them. So that is our one drawback of the efficiency 4s. We're going to pee through the nose on levels just to get these picks built. But with a little bit of luck. Okay. Come on. Ooh. But it's possible, and that's the most important thing. So we're not going to get blocked from making our tools. It's just going to be super duper expensive until we can get one of those igloo guys to set us up with the cheaper books. And again, cheaper won't necessarily lower the enchantment costs. In fact, enchantment 5 should have more weight, so it will actually be slightly more, but there'll only be the one of them, right? And you won't have to do 2 top level 4 enchantments onto the tool before you ever get to Unbreaking 3. So hopefully that makes sense. This does give us a lot of flex on our stuff, even without the Unbreaking 3, though. We can just be careful about keeping it repaired. That's going to suck away levels from us, but price we need to be prepared to pay. Okay, so what do we have left now on our boots? We're going to want that and that. Let's start a new stack of extras because I want to get everything. Oh, we'd had mending there, maybe. That was the sweet. Oh, can we do this? No, we've only got 5 now. Mending, efficiency, unbreaking. Let's switch these. Those are the ones we'll always want to keep a stock of. This is kind of a one-off. Now we got extra unbreakings. That's everything we got to get on there. These 2 are tough. But that's probably going to be the same price all around as our pick was, right? So we have to expect that same escalation. We're going to be combining 2 4s, 2 3s, and a 1. Ooh, might be even more expensive. We'll see. We're going to be like pushed to the limit, but I think we can do that. I don't think you have to have a multi just to get the boots done. We'll see. But, if we find it's too expensive, all we have to do is wipe and start again. But as a starting point, everything else will be extra. Our priority on the boots, which are now our priority, I think, are these. And it's really these 2, because this can save our life in an instant. The prot will also help make us fairly invulnerable, which we aren't right now. The right creeper gets us, we're done. But this can save us falling that ravine where we went down to a heart and a half or something before we ever started dealing with the zombie. This makes a big difference. So I think these are the next 2 onto our boots that we're trying to get XP up to do. Let's check our time now. I'm sure we've... Oh, look at that. We're almost at 2.5 hours. It's amazing how much you get sucked in as you're just trying to put these things on. I apologize for the long episode, though. Let's try to wrap this up quickly. So we're going to get out of the game, save and quit. This is going to do it for me tonight. Wow. It's been another big one. I miss Adam. We don't need any of that. Cancel. We need this. We need this. Thank you guys so much. I sincerely really do appreciate it. I know it's easy to get into, just kind of a cadence, the kind of everybody can repeat it back to you, your exit. But I want to thank you guys. Anybody that's kind of suffering through the fits and starts and challenges of a new hobby for me, trying to deliver something, putting it out there. I appreciate you sticking it out and enjoying. I hope. Feel free, likes, comments, any of that. If you do have recommendations for rambling topics of reflection or thought, love to hear them. Recommendations for the world, style choices, anything like that, drop them in. But for now, and as always, I want to encourage you guys, before you watch the next video, stick your head outside. If you can, go for a walk, night or day. There's always something going on outside, courtesy of Mother Nature, and I hope you get a chance to enjoy it. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else if you can, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.